Welcome to DasGeek. Man, I've been traveling all over and it sucks. One of the things that sucks about traveling is you're away from your home. You know, the world is in HD and that's wonderful. It's all 4K and all that stuff. And you get to meet all these people and you get to shake their hands and then get sick and you get to be sick for a couple of weeks. And then you get to see some unique place and you go, look, I've got to travel there. Yay. And it looks kind of like the place you just came from. Maybe it's flat instead of hilly or hilly instead of flat, but ultimately there's not that much excitement out of there, especially when you compare it to the excitement of sitting in your office chair playing with the new Linux distro. But I am here to give you tips and you're traveling to make sure that you can continue to fill your brains and be entertained. Most importantly, while you're doing it, while you're traveling out there, because this is the season to start traveling. I wish I could have got this out to you sooner, but lo and behold, I was traveling again. So I've been doing lots of traveling, being stuck in airports, lots of long car rides, lots of waiting and all of that fun stuff. And I've picked up a few tips along the way that I think I want to share with you. And of course, as always, I look forward to your comments down below and giving me your tips for traveling and still maintaining the ability to fill your brain, to grow it, to gain knowledge and all of that good stuff. So tip number one, carry a Linux distro with you everywhere. I have Arch Merge on this, but it could be MX Linux, it could be Ubuntu, whatever your favorite distro is at that time. Put it on a USB, stick this on a keychain, put it in your laptop bag, it doesn't matter. Here's where this becomes so amazing, and I've done this and it's just awesome. You can go to a hotel computer, you could plug this in, and you could, as long as you have the ability to get to the boot options, which most of them do still, they don't lock that down, you could boot to this USB, have a complete session of Linux. That's the power of Linux, right? It can fit onto a little USB drive and go anywhere with you, and you can have a Linux session there that's much more secure, and you're bypassing some boring old Windows or something along those lines. Additionally, and you have to check with your own IT department and know those rules, but if you have a work computer and it's got Windows on it, and of course you don't want to mix work and personal stuff that you're searching for, videos that you're watching, because when you're traveling, of course you're going to want to watch my videos, right? You want to try to catch up on all the ones you missed, right? Yeah. In any case, what you want to do is you could plug this into your work computer. You could boot into a Linux operating system, be able to have your sessions, YouTube, you know, do some terminal play, whatever you want to do, learn some stuff. And then once you disconnect that session is gone and you don't have to worry about anybody in IT complaining that, you know, you were using your work computer for YouTube or downloading stuff in the files and they found it and you're not supposed to, and now you're fired and all of that. This is a lifesaver here. Definitely carry one of these with you. It can fit anywhere, and it's such a powerful option while you're traveling out there. Another thing is you're going to want plenty of material for downtime, especially if you're going on airplanes. I had 6 flights canceled in a row flying and trying to get into Atlanta during the snowpocalypse. It was a complete disaster. But one of the things that kept me able to keep my brains filled and everything else was, of course, podcasts. So go out there, download some stuff. But this is the tip. You'll be like, oh, download podcasts, real great tip. Well, here's my tip. This is the important one. What happens in these situations is, number one, if you're stuck for long periods of time or you're traveling for long periods of time, you don't have a plan that doesn't have unlimited data and that type of thing. Number one is you're going to have a chance that you're going to go over your data watching Netflix or movies or downloading podcasts, etc. So my tip is to make sure you do all this stuff before you go out and travel to download stuff. Download a bunch of podcasts that you're interested in. Go to Audible, which is my other tip, one of my favorite things to subscribe to. You get a free audiobook every month that you can use a token on. They have several other plans as well, but that's the one that I have. And you could go in here and you could download any book that you want. It could be fiction or nonfiction. They have a whole series of Linux books. I've played with some of these ones by Jason Cannon, and they're okay. You can learn new things in there, new command lines, everything else that you can listen to, help keep you entertained while you're waiting. So you got some audiobooks, you have some podcasts to listen to, and you've pre-downloaded them. And including with Netflix, you can go and pre-download movies and things as well. Because the other thing is, on a public network, they end up, especially if a bunch of flights get delayed, the network ends up just, completely slowing to a crawl. Whether that's your cell phone network or the public airport network, etc., because so many people start getting on it. And because of that, you have all that stuff pre-downloaded. You won't have to worry about it, and you won't be utilizing all of your data and things to download stuff. So pre-download some podcasts and a bunch of movies and things that will keep you entertained while you're waiting there and allow you to keep filling your brains in audiobooks out there. Bring a Linux or coding book with you so that you can learn something while you're there. So I brought this one with me here, the Linux Command Line and Shell Scripting Bible, recently, and it was so thick that it actually got TSA to flag me. So and they started scrubbing it down to see if there's any gunpowder or residue or something on it. Don't worry, I passed. Clearly, I made it through. And they're like, "You really read a book this thick?" I'm like, "Read the title of it, lady. Linux, Geek. Come on. Of course we read books this thick, or at least thumb through them to learn new stuff." But in any case, bring books with you, some Linux books, any books that you want, so that you can learn something along the way. It's always good to have a book along with you. You have an ebook reader, even better, because you can bring tons of books with you. But sometimes I just like the feel of having a actual physical book there with me. So that is an option as well. Setting up an SSH connection to your main computer or a computer at your house is another awesome thing. So you can download a program like I use Prompt on iOS, which allows you to SSH into one of your computers, and then you can start playing with the terminal. So it's like you're away from home, but you're still there with your baby. You know what I mean? You can go in there, you can start installing some stuff. You can do anything you can normally do within the terminal. And if you have something like this about, creating new command line interfacing and building shell scripting, etc., you can start doing that and practicing it as you go, just playing with that on your phone. Or if you have something like a tablet, you could go install Kali Linux on it. Kali Linux is just a fantastic distribution for anything that's basically ARM-based processor hardware out there. You can install it on. So whether you've got a Samsung device, Raspberry Pi, whatever it is, you can run this on it, Chromebooks, and you can have and take Linux with you. And then you can also set up, again, SSHs. You can play with the configuring and tuning. This is kind of a white hat security penetration testing software. I wouldn't recommend penetration testing any airport security or anything along those lines. So definitely understand there's a lot of tools in here that are pretty powerful, and they're not meant for doing bad things, but they're meant for learning stuff in there. But there's lots of tools and things you can play with and have fun with. Be careful how you use them, but certainly, and where you're using them, but certainly Kali Linux is an awesome thing that you can install on almost any device out there. So one of the most important things you can do besides bringing Linux with you on a USB drive is to make sure you have a VPN software set up as well. So while you're on public networks, whether you're in a restaurant while you're traveling or you are sitting at the airport, this is a perfect opportunity for somebody to set up fake Wi-Fi networks to steal your information, sniffing, all the stuff that they could do to get your data. And if you have a VPN, it's going to make it much, much more difficult, nearly impossible for them to be able to perform such attacks on you. I use Pia VPN personally, but you can use any VPN service that you trust and have done research on. And it definitely will protect you, especially if you're getting, you're logging into your email, which can have lots of sensitive information in it, checking bank account statements, credit card statements, etc. while you're traveling and you're on these Wi-Fi hotel networks, airport networks, etc. You do not want to be doing that without a VPN. So Pia, and other VPNs, you can download them on your phone, you can have them on your laptop, on your computers, multiple devices, and keep your data encrypted, anything that leaves your device. The other difficult thing on the road is to game on the road, right? So you don't want to pack a PS4 into your backpack. It's pretty difficult to bring your whole desktop computer. And a lot of laptops just really aren't capable of gaming really well, or you're already carrying a work laptop with you. So bringing a completely other laptop is just too cumbersome. So the option here is a Raspberry Pi. This little device, this little $30 device here is an amazing little gaming machine. And it runs Linux, of course. You can even install Kali Linux on it. And what you can do is set up emulators. You can have retro gaming. It has an HDMI port. So many of the hotels have HDMI-based TVs in them now. In fact, everyone that I went to did. And you can just connect your TV into this little device, bring a controller with you, and game away. You can get the emulators out there, do a bunch of retro gaming on it, and just have an absolute blast. Get your gaming on while you're out there and traveling. Those are my tips for gaming or for traveling as a Linux geek. Leave your tips down below because I'm sure you guys have some awesome tips as well, or let me know if any of these tips just aren't good. You tried them and they didn't work for you, but all of these tips I've tried personally. They definitely help me deal with the traveling and the long wait times and the boredom, and making sure that, you know, while I'm out and about, I'm still learning and I'm still out there, most importantly, filling my brain.